afternoon. We are live. I'm Andy Andrews. You have joined us for the Blue Plate Special here in the financial district of Orange Beach, Alabama, at the Wharf, Wisdom Harbor Studios, here right at the Wharf, home of the fabulous escalator statues and Sand Dollar Lifestyles. Which is where I got this shirt. How about that? Not a mirror t-shirt today, but a real live long sleeve shirt like your mama would be proud for you to wear. Well, oh, Matt, am I supposed to click a notification to know when we're live?
You're not. Everybody watching.
No, okay. No, that's everybody else. Okay. Well, we're glad you're here. If you joined us on Facebook, be sure to click that notification button and turn the notifications on your phone. That way, when we go live, anytime we go live on Facebook, you'll be notified. Heather Olson, you are shared in Utah. Thank you so much, and we appreciate you sharing. And Christy, my sister, hello, and you have shared. We do appreciate you sharing with your Facebook page. That way, they get to see whatever foolishness we get into here on the Blue Plate Special. Andrea Kinney, good afternoon from Nashville. I hope you like country music because it's everywhere there. Marcy Carlson Taylor, good morning. Hey, did you enjoy the professional notice this morning? I appreciate that so much. I had so much fun doing that show with Brian. I thought it was very unusual to have somebody who is into wood like that, and of course I am too. I'm into wood, and I've learned a lot from him, and getting to hang with him lately. He's a great new friend, and I think that's very interesting for anybody that just wants to walk around outside. What Brian has to say is very interesting. Deanna Kilpatrick, good afternoon. You shared, thank you very much. Serena Stowe Garner, you shared too in overcast Arkansas. Supposed to have storms today and tomorrow. It's kind of rough here. Tammy Nance, what are you doing? Hey, Tammy Nance, you need to share. You're the only one that came on that hadn't shared yet. So just saying, Tammy Nance. Dave, hey, from Minnesota. Are you freezing up there? Patricia Clapp, watching from North Carolina. You shared, thank you. Deb Rhodes, enjoyed your show in person a couple of weeks ago. Was that you? And Claire Solar. Claire Solar. I wonder where Claire would be from. Would she be from Louisiana, maybe? Chris Newfield, watching from Dallas. Hey, hi to everybody watching on YouTube, too. And press that subscribe button. Gene McDonald. Gene, when are you coming down? When are you coming down? I've got to get Gene on this show. If you don't know who Gene McDonald is, go on YouTube and just put in Gene McDonald. Unbelievable. Charlotte Engel, hey, we have people coming in the studio. We're glad you guys are here. Are y'all local or are you from parts north? You're from around here? I can't hear, but I see you moving your mouth, and so I'm going to assume yes. Deb Rhodes, sunny and cool in Indiana. I'd like to say hi to the LinkedIn people. Take off your tie, watch us. Now what did she ask? Danica Patrick said, are you going to be close to the Wharf next week? Yeah, I am. I'll be here in the studio. I think I am almost every day. Lori, listening in Rhode Island. Also, you know what I'm doing this Sunday? Kevin Perkins, you old man. How are you doing, buddy? This coming Sunday, I am doing the message at church at the Floribama. And so that's Memorial Day weekend. And so we do two services at 9 and 11. And if you ever heard Come As You Are, this is what it is. This is a flip-flop t-shirt church. Richard Vance, yep, love listening to the Southern. Do I have really a Southern accent? It doesn't seem to me that I do when I hear other people's Southern accent. Annette Harwell, just shared. You didn't want to be left out. Thank you so much. I appreciate you not wanting to be left out. Mike Pomeroy. So you enjoy when we make the scammers mad. Yeah. We have a good time doing that, too. We have a good time doing that. Marcy Cross Taylor says, glad we're live today and not just semi-live. Yeah, but, we could, when we do the semi-live thing, it's because we know I'm going to be gone. And so we could either do that or you could watch a rerun. And I guess people would be happy with reruns. They're still watching Gilligan's Island. So maybe they'd be happy with reruns of this. I have a special guest today. I have a special guest. And she is, Andrea Kinney says, I should drive down for church. You should. You should. Even if it's raining, you should be there. Now, I know during the pandemic, when I was watching church online, sometimes it would be raining, so I couldn't go to church that day. But if it's raining in person, we'd like you there. In studio, this is Diane Saunders from Gulf Shores. Diane and Gerald, how are y'all doing? We are glad y'all are here. We've got a very special show for you. We don't always have a guest on Blue Plate, but we got a guest today because I found out somebody was in town the other day, and I said, I need you to come by the studio about 11:30 on Tuesday and be my guest on the Blue Plate special. She is one of my favorite people, and I'm thinking I'm trying to even remember because it seems like I have known Christy forever, but I know that I haven't. And but now you're gonna meet her, and when we get through here in like 25, 30 minutes, you will feel like you knew her forever. Christy Solar from Louisiana.
Hello, sir.
Hey.
How are you?
I am so glad you're here.
You look fabulous today.
Well, hopefully I look normal.
You look normal
when I was a young guy, I would fix myself in the mirror, and I'd look back and I was aware that I was trying to be attractive.
Yes.
I was trying to be attracting. But now when I fix myself in the mirror, I just say, Lord, just don't let me be distracting.
Just look normal.
Yeah, I don't want to be necessarily attracting. I just want to be not distracting. So that I don't come out and somebody goes, what's up with his hair? But anyway, I'm so glad you're here.
I'm
and your
so
son
glad to
Mike
be
is
here.
with you.
Michael is with me right behind on the camera. And I know how we met. Are you ready?
Yeah,
I'm going to remind you. So Steve Jacobson, they were doing some work with you, and I said, that is my favorite author. And he said, come to Santa Barbara in 2014.
Wow.
I think we were at the Ritz or something.
Yes. Yeah.
And I came just to meet you.
Oh, you did not.
I did. Steve Jacobson will tell you. That is why he flew me to Santa Barbara.
But now I will agree that is like Jake.
It is like Jake. Yes.
I mean, Jake is the best CEO I have ever seen.
He is phenomenal.
And the CEO of Fairway. He's been a guest on our show, on our podcast.
Yeah,
and I will agree that having watched him for 7 years, that is like something he would do.
Yeah.
Well, here, let me fly you here.
Yeah. He said, I was actually in San Diego with Hal Elrod, and he said, hey, can you get to Santa Barbara? I took a train. I said fly, but I got on a train from San Diego. I don't think you ever knew this.
He rolled you. He didn't fly you. He rolled you.
I said the quickest way I can get there is a train. So I jumped on a train from San Diego and rode to Santa Barbara and got there at like 10-something at night, checked in the hotel, and met you the next day. And you didn't even know I took a train, did you?
I didn't. I didn't know you took a train.
I took a train.
That is awesome, though. That is awesome. And then I think, now, no offense, but I meet a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so I don't necessarily remember that. But I think the first time I became really aware of you is we were in New Orleans at a meeting, and you had just gone through a hurricane.
We had just gone through, it was actually a flood. It was a flood in the Baton Rouge and Denham Springs area. It was a unnamed storm, as they say. And we got 4 foot of water in our house, 16 total in the yard. So, and we had
And
lost
where-
everything
you're
on
in
the first
Denham
floor.
Spring-
I'm in
Denham
Denham Springs.
Springs?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's about 10
But you're
minutes
not an
away.
LSU fan or anything. So.
You know what? I'm not going to say that on here. I don't really like college sports.
Okay, if you don't,
I love like NFL.
if you don't like
NBA.
college sports, then we will claim you for Alabama.
As Alabama?
Yeah. And
If
so
anybody's
from
watching, I
now
might
on-
not get to go home though.
So from now on, when anybody asks you who's your
I'll
team,
say go
you just
Bama.
say Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Mike's
Sorry,
over
guys.
here going.
Yeah.
"No."
My son's behind me. My husband's probably watching and be like, "You're not coming back home." But, whatever.
Okay, so you had 4 feet of water
Yep.
in your house. You know, we have floods in central Alabama a fair amount. I mean, every year,
Right.
the Tom Bigby and Alabama floods. And, yeah, I've seen floods on TV. And I've seen, but I had a friend, Jimmy Pierce, took me in his boat out into the Hunland, you know, and I live on the Gulf of Mexico, and I didn't know there was that much water in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, to see that much water in an area that's
Yeah.
usually bone dry.
Yeah, I actually only saw it in pictures. My oldest daughter and I were in California when it happened. And so Mike and Michael and Chloe were home. And it came up overnight. And when Mike stood up that morning about 6 a.m., it was right up, like just rolling up his legs.
Like you stick your foot out of bed and go, oh.
He stuck his foot out of bed and realized there was water, and he thought a pipe busted. It had been raining, but we never thought we would flood because we got
That'd be a
about
big pipe.
what
wouldn't it?
I know. And so he got out, and then he said probably within 45 minutes it was up to his waist. So I was in California. I called some friends. Hannah's probably watching this. Called Hannah, and her husband went over, and Mike swam out. And we had to have a boat rescue the kids. So it was a little scary for this mama in California.
I'll bet. When you're stuck out there, you can't do anything.
And listen, I'm going to tell you this true story. I'm staying at a hotel that was right there across from like is it the Chinese theater?
Right,
Right
sure,
there.
sure.
And I look up at the hill. I mean, I'm crying. I can't get anybody on the phone, and my kids are in a flooded house. And I look up on the hill, and by the Hollywood sign, there was a cross. And it was bright and shiny. And like, it was bright outside, the sun was shining. And in that moment, I just knew everything was going to be okay. And it was the most amazing, scary feeling I've ever had. But I just had like a peace. They say the peace. And then I just calmed down and I said, you know what, he won't be able to call you, because the phone lines and everything's down. But I got home, I think, 3 days later and saw the devastation. But
I don't know what I'm more astounded about, that you got a piece from seeing the cross, or that there was a cross in Hollywood.
there was a cross in Hollywood. I know. I looked up at the Hollywood sign, Andy, and I'm like, wait, is that a cross? But I felt like it was my sign.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
God gives us signs, doesn't he? That was
That-
just mine. That was mine. Now, look, I was still crying in a mess. I'm not going to say it stopped at all, but I had a peace about it. I knew it was going to be okay. And we rebuilt. It took us probably over a year, I know you know
We know that,
the
yeah.
feeling of that. So we lived upstairs with 2 dogs at the time and 3 kids in a smaller area. So I'm sure Mike prayed a lot during that time because, he was, we were in close quarters, but it was great. So now we have our beautiful home back. Now, if it floods again, I don't know if I'm going to stay. I don't know if I can do it again. But
Yeah.
I say that, but
Oh, yeah. We had Ivan, then we had Sally.
yeah.
And they were more than a decade apart.
Yeah.
But still, I talked to Ken Grimes, who is the city manager of Orange Beach, and Ken was just like, oh, because he's tasked with all this
Yeah,
stuff, and he said, they say that the way you do this is just like you eat an elephant, one bite at a time. He said, but the problem is you got to be hungry for elephant, and I'm just not hungry for this anymore.
Yeah. It's, when Mike and I bought the house, it was our dream house.
Right.
And so when it flooded, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to redo the dream and make the dream better. But I don't know if I have a bigger dream. I think if it happened again, I'd probably just move.
Sell that dream.
I'd probably sell the dream.
My God.
Probably
Well,
sell it.
so I got something I want to ask you about, but I
Yep.
got to be tender.
You don't have to
asking.
be tender with me. Go, I'm ready.
Well, I know, yeah, I know, but you know, sometimes you can talk to an old friend, and other people watch and go, "I can't believe he said that."
He said
you know.
that, yeah.
But first, before I get to the part where I probably need to be tender, tell me what you do on a daily basis, what your title is with Fairway, and
Ooh,
what
okay.
you do on a daily basis, because you're a big dog, you know.
I don't know if I'm a big dog. I'm just
I mean,
a lone officer.
You and Wheezy rule the roost there in
Wheezy's
Louisiana.
a big dog. I'm just a lone officer. So on a daily basis, I have an amazing team. And shout out because they're all listening. Let me see if I can name everybody: Danae, Hannah, Kelsey, Claire, and Bailey. There we go. Look at that. I'm getting old and all the lights. But so on a daily basis, I just help people. I say I fund dreams. I help people get in houses. But it's a lot of problem solving, a lot of talking on the phone, and it's pretty much 7 days a week.
Okay.
So-
Before I want to get back to that because there's a part of it I want
Yeah.
to hit.
Okay, I'm ready.
But here's the thing. I've known you, I guess, for like 7 years,
Yeah.
and I still, and I've known you for the past 3 years, and I'm still astonished every time I see you because you've lost some weight.
Different. Yeah, I've lost some weight.
So do you mind telling us how much? And
Not
tell
at
us
all.
What started that and how you've?
Yeah, for sure. So I lost about 130 pounds. I weighed 265 at my highest. And so I'm going to tell you, I know this is a fun show. I'm going to make it fun, but I'm just going to tell you the truth. Okay.
Yeah, tell me.
So in my 20s, I made some pretty bad decisions. Some things happened. It was my choices, but, led to some bad results. And part of that was, let's just be honest, the use of some drugs,
Okay.
right? And from that, I made some other bad decisions, not good decisions. And so those decisions had consequences, and I just suffered a lot. I kept it inside. And when I was 25, I had my beautiful daughter, Claire. So that changed. And I remember, I'll tell you that story real quick if you got a minute. I know you got a minute. So I'll
Yeah,
tell it.
I did.
So
all your men.
I thought I had an ulcer. So I went to the hospital, and when I walked in the door, they were like, okay, if you have an ulcer, we're going to take you back to x-ray. So we got to x-ray. Well, the x-ray machine would not work. And they said, we're going to take you down to ultrasound. So when they took me down to ultrasound, they found a baby. And I was about 3 months pregnant. I had not been living the life I should, right? A lot of drugs. And I remember laying on that bed and saying, God, if you will save this baby, I will change my life, right? So that was, as you talk about the decisions, that was a decision. So when I walked out of there, I called my mom and daddy, and I went back home. And I had the most beautiful baby girl. She's 23 now. She works for me. But I realized, as a lot of people do, I held a lot of things in, right? I always thought if people saw who I really was, or knew what I really had done, that they wouldn't like me, or that I wasn't worthy of success, or even worthy of God's grace. And it weighed on me for so long, and it weighed on me in the form of eating, right? So food kind of became, in my mind, doesn't really make sense now, but I know some people watching can relate to this. In my mind, if I wasn't attractive, then nothing could hurt me, right? To me, I put on the weight and I looked different. I wanted to be different, not necessarily not attractive, because I think I was fine when I was bigger too, but I'm just saying. But for me, I didn't want any, attention, I thought. And I've it's taken me a lot of time and a lot of therapy to get through that, but I held that. And so my weight, and then I got to Fairway, completely changed my life. Started being success is what the world calls it. But I never felt peace. No matter how much success I got, awards or maybe paychecks or whatever, I still didn't feel worthy. I still felt unworthy. And I was like, God, why do I feel like this? I have what the world says I should have. But I realized something. I had never went back and forgiven that girl in her 20s and never met her where she was and never let all that go. And so we have, lots of groups in Fairway, and one of them is the Dudas Sisters. And we went to this retreat, and they were talking about letting the past go because it does dictate your future if you allow it. And I realized that I need to make changes in my life, changes with my health, changes in my marriage, right? Because I had been focusing on the wrong things, pushing all the old stuff down. And when I started doing that, it was like magic. It was like God's divine purpose. And then I know y'all watching, I started getting tattoos. These were not in the drug days. These are recent. These are not when I was wild in my 20s. Everybody's like, oh, you had a pass. Sorry, Matt. They were like, oh, you had a pass. No, these are in the last few years because
you had a pass.
Now I say my inside matches my outside. And for so long, I portrayed something on the outside that I wouldn't on the inside, right? And I never felt like my inside matched my outside. So my husband's probably wishing my inside didn't match my outside so much because he's conservative. But, I just figured out that being your best you, I heard somebody say one time, it was none of your business what other people thought of you, right? You can't change it in a positive way. I just want to be me, and I want to live the purpose that God has for my life. And for so long, I lived in the shackles of what had happened to me or the bad choices I had made. And a lot of times, and you talked about this Sunday, because I'm going to tell y'all in a minute how I ended up at church Sunday. But Sunday, you talked about this, and you said that forgiveness is for you, right? And sometimes forgiving yourself is harder than forgiving other people. And when I learned to do that, that's when I was able to lose the weight. And that's when I did have weight loss surgery to help with that, but it's just a tool and you still have to change your mindset.
Right.
And so that's the weight loss. Did I give you enough there? Did you get enough
You did.
there?
That was great.
Wait, I have to tell the people about Floribama Sunday. Can I share that real quick?
Yeah. Because that was kind of a surprise Sunday because Dan was supposed to speak, and Dan could not get out of Minnesota.
Yeah.
Because it's snowing in May.
Yeah.
And so I'm supposed to speak next Sunday, and I'm still going to.
Yeah.
But they said, hey, Dan's not here, and I'm like, yeah, really? Okay. And they said, can you speak? And I said, sure. So I did.
Okay, so I have to tell y'all the real story about Floribama. Okay, so I'm in town for the weekend with my children. My husband stayed back, and I'm sitting on the balcony having my morning coffee, and I get a text from Andy Andrews. And he says, what you doing today? You want to meet me at church at 9? I think it was, 9 o'clock. It's at Floribama. And I was like, wait, Floribama's a bar. I was really confused. First, I just woke up and my brain was thinking, why is Andy Andrews asking me to Floribama? And then I was thinking, they have church at Floribama? I got really confused. But I got dressed and then I texted him and I said, what do you wear to church? I only brought beach clothes this week, and I actually had to go buy this little fancy dress today for the TV. But I was like, I just had a tie-dye dress, but I showed up because what's the saying? Being okay. Wait, it's okay to not be okay.
A place that it's okay to not be okay.
Well, I was not okay in my outfit, but I fit right in. It was amazing. And I want to say this. It was the most genuine service I've been to in a long time. The band was amazing. I text my husband, like, we're going to Floribama Church every time we're in town. I did not know. So if you're in Orange Beach, you need to go to Floribama Church. It's fantastic.
We do.
Fantastic.
We have a good time.
Nicest
We have
people.
the only, we baptize them in the Gulf. So we have the only baptistry in the United States that has its own dolphins in the baptistry.
I actually said I might get baptized again. Y'all hear that out here? I might just do it again just so I can be with the dolphins. And I met the nicest ladies. Some of them had texted me. And guess what I shared with them?
What?
Wisdom Harbor.
Oh, good.
I did.
I appreciate that.
I did.
I appreciate you. You are an ambassador for wisdomharbor.com. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. We all do.
Yeah. So, and look, I see you on the Blue Plate special, and I know that you are one of the most genuine. And just so you guys know, I'm a fangirl. I am a friend, but I'm also a fangirl. My kids just know that everything I read is Andy Andrews.
She's crazy. She's a wrestling fan, too.
I am a wrestling fan, but I just want to say this. I know this is his show, but if you have not downloaded Wisdom Harbor, it is the most positive daily start to my day. The music, I get sucked in. I was listening to Jimmy sing the other night.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And you live people out there watching, you need to go and download Wisdom Harbor. So it's fantastic.
Thank you. Who's your favorite wrestler?
Oh my gosh, my son's behind me. Okay, I'm just going to tell y'all. Jeff Hardy.
Okay, no, so
Okay.
he's a big deal?
Matt, you don't know? Matt. Okay.
I don't.
So I will say this, and the nice lady out there is laughing like, who does Andy have on the show today? It's me. It's the Christy Wrestling Takeover. But so I love Jeff Hardy, and I met Jeff Hardy. He's got tattoos from here to here, and
But they just reflect what's on his inside.
his inside matches his outside. And y'all know I like that, right? So look, Matt's laughing. Look, it's really fun being here. You can see all these people, and I'm squirrely, and I just go all kind of ways. But let me tell you, I met Jeff Hardy, me and Michael. Michael waved at the camera. Mike's got his hand
Is he a
up.
good guy or a bad guy?
He's a good guy, whether he's good or bad. Right now, he's good.
Right now he's good.
But listen, I know it's scripted, but I love it, okay? And so I met Jeff Hardy in Dallas at WrestleMania. Remember I texted you? And Andy calls the wrestling fans booger eaters just for that little tidbit of information. So he said, you hanging out with the booger eaters. That's how he talks. See, I'm not Southern. He's Southern. And I said, you know what? I'll send you some pictures. So anyway, so we went to Dallas where there was a meet and greet at the hotel, and me and Michael snuck up early that morning and hid like in a room so that we could be the first in line to meet Jeff Hardy. I know it wasn't illegal. They didn't have any signs. So we met Jeff Hardy. He was the nicest, most genuine guy. And we talked, and he spent time with Michael. Well, let me tell you, about a month later, I was sitting front row at the wrestling in New Orleans. And Jeff Hardy came out, and guess who he recognized? Me. He recognized me. And he got on the ring, and Andy, you know what he did? I got the video. I'm going to show you after. He blew, you hear me, sir? He blew me kisses, standing on the top row.
Not Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy blew me kisses. I almost fainted. So look, I'm videoed it. Then I realized that my daughter Chloe, she's got my back, right? She starts videoing too, because I'm like, he's looking at me. He's blowing me kisses. He jumps off the ring. He pulls his sleeve off. It's dramatic. He starts coming at me. He hugged me.
He hugged you. Jeff Hardy hugged you.
Sweaty and all, ma'am. It was amazing. So look, he gave me his sleeve. It's at my house. It's in my bedroom. I won't let the kids touch it. It's kind of like your memorabilia here at the shop. He pulled the sleeve off and he gave it to me. And he hugged me. And all I could say was, I love you. And he said, I love you too. I remember you from Dallas. It was made my night. I mean, me and you was top of the list.
But now I'm just second place.
Well,
I'm
wait.
second service to Jeff Hardy.
Then he walked down. My daughter Chloe got the hug on camera, so I watched it a good bit. And then he skipped Chloe because she didn't go to the meet and greet. I told her to show up, she didn't show up. So he went over to Michael and he hugged Michael. So this is a true story. After
Michael,
he hugs
did it change
me,
your life like it did your mother's? Yeah, it did. Okay.
it did. After he hugged me, I walked out by the concession stand, got in a quiet place, and I called Mike, my husband of 20 years. I said, Mike, Jeff Hardy just hugged me and gave me his sweaty sleeve. Now, I love you, but we might have a problem because I love Jeff Hardy too. Mike said, well, if he calls you to come, just go. But anyway,
Sandra Mendonca says she's a wrestling fan too.
Hi, there's people all around us. Well, what is so cool about it, I'll tell you the good part about it. But so that sleeve is still in my bedroom, and I will tell you, I know it sounds gross, but it smelled like Jeff Hardy, so I wore it around my neck on the way home, driving
like
home.
Jeff Hardy.
But yeah, so Jeff Hardy's my favorite right
Weezy's
now.
watching.
Wheezy,
Yeah,
hey,
she
I
sure
love
is.
you. Wheezy's
You know,
amazing.
I met a wrestler on a cruise ship one time.
Did you? Who'd you?
Big guy, and so people had said he's a professional wrestler, and so when I met him, I said, so are you a good guy or a bad guy? And he said, oh, both. He said, here, I'll show you. And he showed me a picture, and he says, when I'm wearing the black mask, I'm the masked assassin. He said, when I'm wearing the red, white, and blue mask, I'm the masked avenger.
Yes.
So, just like, she's got 2 careers.
It's awesome. So my son behind me loves it. He can tell you everything about every wrestler. And growing up, I watched it. My grandfather watched it. But since my kids love it so much, I just figured I got to go anyway, so I might as well learn about it and love it.
Love it.
And I love it. And Jake the Snake Roberts, we just meet all of them all the time.
Like Barney and those kerosene pickles, just learn to love
Just
them.
learn to love them, and now I love them. And now I got Jeff Hardy's sleeve.
Wow.
Look at that.
Well, you have, now, in your career,
Yeah.
if you hear the office you run and the people that you have, it doesn't sound like you should have as big a profile as you do in this massive company.
Yeah.
But everybody knows who you are. I mean, everybody. I mean, before we went on the air, I texted 2 people in Wisconsin, 1 in Louisiana, and 1 in Colorado, and all of them were just like thrilled you were going to be. They don't ever watch this show, and they're watching today, you know, and so I have noticed something about you that I would like to hear you explain.
Okay.
You are, to me, what companies should aspire to with their leaders, because you play for that team. You don't just play for you. You play for that team. I've seen you spend time in encouraging people. It's just, you astonish me, which is why you're here today, because you have a great knack of communicating. A lot of people can talk, very few people can communicate, and you communicate. So what's the story behind that? How did that happen?
Well, I think I get it from my daddy, and he's probably watching too. He was always such a great connector, I call it, right? He always taught us to love everybody, and if you're not doing something you love, then you're not doing the right thing. And he always told us to put people first. And so I grew up watching my parents, live an average, make an average middle class income, but they gave. I mean, they gave. Like my mother, that first 10% was given to the church. We watched Homecoming all the time, your buddy Bill Gaither.
Yeah.
And they just instilled in me that you have to learn to connect with people, but most of all, you have to really care about people. And I think a lot of times those of us that love to talk, right? My kids say I'll talk to a tree, but I just love people. And that's why I started loving your books, because the noticer. See, I feel like in my own way, I'm a noticer.
I do too.
I just feel like it's a gift. Our CEO always says you have to be humble, hungry, and smart. And when you are blessed to work for the company that I'm blessed to work for, you learn to be a good teammate, because everybody around you, we talk about the people you surround yourself with.
Right.
So I've always had those core values, but since being with Fairway, in fact, it's the only mortgage lender I've ever worked for. Did you know that? I never worked for another mortgage lender. I worked at a bank doing consumer loans. Then Fairway hired me, and I didn't even have my license. They were like, "Oh, we'll hire you and just get your license," and I did. But when you're around those kind of people like Wheezy and Jake and Sarah and Kevin, and I mean, you're around, Ken, I mean, you cannot help but be a good teammate, right? Because you're
Okay, those people that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
I couldn't even count. I mean, I've already said Jake is the best CEO I've ever seen.
Hands down.
And I could not count the nicknames Jake has for people. So just the people you just mentioned. Okay, so
Yeah.
Sarah is Kobe.
Kobe, Wheezy.
Louise is Wheezy. or
KP.
sometimes Boo Fontana.
Yeah, Boo Fontana. Yeah.
All right, and
Ken.
Ken.
I think he just calls him KP.
KP.
But we have all kinds. We have.
What are you?
Frog Pop. Well, I think I've had 4. When
But
I
right
was.
now you're on stage.
I'm on stage right now, literally, and that's my
He calls it
nickname.
on stage. Hey, on
Yeah,
stage.
on stage. It was Rook, then no Rook because I wasn't a rookie anymore, and then it was on stage. So I've had lots of, and I'm gonna tell you something. I hope he's not watching this, and if he is, somebody cut his phone off because he's so humble. He hates to be shared about. But let me tell you what Steve Jacobson did. He's done a lot of great things for me, and one of them was meeting you, even though you don't remember. But you remember later. You remember later. See, he only doesn't remember because I was quiet then. See, my inside wasn't
hard to
matching my
imagine, isn't it?
outside
It's
then.
hard to imagine.
And so I just sat in the corner like a little daisy, but
Just
not
what
really.
she was probably watching wrestling.
I was watching wrestling on
her
my phone probably while they were meeting. But let me tell you what he did. And again, this is not about Fairway, but this man is
about Jake.
It's about Jake. And after our house flooded, okay, I get a video one night, and it's like 9 something at night, like 9, which is late for me because I go to bed early. And it is a video, Jake on his phone in his favorite clothing store in downtown Wisconsin, and he was buying my husband clothes because there weren't any stores open, and Mike and I, our bedroom was downstairs, and the water had set for like 3 days or so there was no saving most of the stuff. And he sent boxes of clothes to my husband and then some of the other employees down there. And so when you ask about me.
And of course, I've never heard that story.
Well, because
I mean, you wouldn't hear it from him.
No, you would never hear it from him. But when you ask about me being a good teammate, I'm a good teammate because teams follow leaders, right, and coaches. And I have the best. And so my daddy and mom instilled the values, but the people I surround myself with every day, like you, make it better for me and fun.
Wow.
And I'm
you
on
make
Blue
it
Plate
better
Special.
for us, Christy. There is no doubt. You make it better. You make it happier. You make it funnier.
You have to tell them how I weaseled my way on here. You gonna tell them? Or you want me to tell them?
what?
How I got this little gig here today.
Oh, well, you mentioned one time to me that you like the Blue Plate Special, and I was like, well, thanks. And
I said my goal
And
was.
she said that her life's goal was to be a guest on the Blue Plate Special. Now, the first thing I thought was, I think you need to reestablish your goals, you know. And so I said, well, you know, we can do that. I do it almost every day, and I'm a lot more boring than you are, Christy. And so I said, next time you're in town, come on. And
Well, he said it, and he's always so gracious. And let me tell you something. I'm so blessed by your friendship. I know you're humble too, but you just bless me all the time. But he said it. Well, I went home, and of course, I was jumping up and down when we got off of Zoom. We were on Zoom. So I told y'all I fangirl, and he knows it. And when we got off Zoom, I was jumping up and down. And then I'm like, well, I can't ask him. And so when I text him this weekend, I was seeing if you and Polly were in town. He was out of town. And he said, stay till Tuesday and be on the Blue Plate Special. Well, I bought me a new dress and booked me a new hotel room, and I'm here. But it's good. But I love it because it's fun. So one of my tips, because my job is busy, right? I deal with a lot of people, and it's busy in a good way, but some days it's busy in a rough way.
right.
And so one of my things is I find something to do in the middle of the afternoon and the end of the day to kind of keep my mind, and I watch the Blue Plate Special.
Wow. Well, thank
So-
you.
and
I
I-
appreciate you watching. Wisdom Harbor too. Lil M, is there some scissors in there? Yeah, thanks. I so appreciate you being.
What we cutting?
I so appreciate you being here with us today, and And one of my, probably one of my greatest joys in life is introducing people I love to people I love. So when you came in today, and I get to introduce you to
I love you too.
Liam and to Mandy and SB and to Matt, it's just, and them get to meet you, and it's just awesome. But another thing that I love doing is I love giving unique gifts. I like to give a gift to somebody that, it's not something that people can look at and go, yeah, I have that. Or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I want to see if I can do this.
Day made. Do y'all see that,
I
Michael?
want to see.
Matt. I just love you even more.
Well, I know I'm
Can you see
competing with
comments?
Jeff Hardy here.
Look at that.
Let's see.
Look at that. Oh, read the screen. Claire Solar said she's definitely a fangirl. Claire. Okay, Jeff Hardy's on the back seat now, guys. Matt, Jeff Hardy's on the back seat. Now, Matt, I'm not gonna make him stand on the table and blow me kisses.
But I want you to have a sleeve.
My God, Andy Andrews. Now, Matt, I'm gonna need you to put the camera on me. Jeff Hardy, Michael can now have your sleeve. This is now going in the spot in the bedroom so Mike can see it every day when he gets out of the shower. Y'all see this? Are y'all jealous out there, ladies? Are y'all jealous? Look. Polly knows I
can't
fangirl. She's
think of
good.
anything that I could give you to compete
And that
with
is
Jeff
a
Hardy.
nice shirt. Like, I kind of feel bad, but I kind of love it. So now at fairway events, I'm just going to walk around, and I'll have to do it like this, huh? And I'm going to have it on my, this is the most amazing gift.
Well, I think Sandollar will be fine with it too, and they'll give me another one, and so this is, I think.
Those ladies out there are jealous.
think-
You see that? All us fangirls, you're amazing.
Well, thank you for being with us.
You made my day.
We appreciate it. And we'll be with you Thursday. And of course, we're only broadcasting on wisdomharbor.com on Thursday. So if you haven't joined, it costs less than a gallon of gas. Right now it costs a lot less than a gallon of gas. And so come on, be a part of it. And we'll see you Thursday. Bye-bye.